Hello, sleepy thinkers, and welcome to Sleepy Science Teller, a quiet place where science drifts softly through the night and curiosity becomes a lullaby. Tonight, we'll travel far beyond the stars we can see, into a hidden region of space, where something unseen is pulling us all closer, a place known as the Great Attractor. Before we begin, I'd love to know where in the world you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. Just whisper it softly in the comments. Perhaps it's midnight or early dawn. Wherever you are, you're part of this quiet cosmic journey. And if you find peace in these calm explorations, please gently tap the like button and subscribe so we can drift through more mysteries of science. Together, close your eyes and imagine the soft hum of the universe, a gentle vibration that has been echoing since the beginning of time. You are floating weightless in the quiet dark of space. All around you, the night stretches endlessly, yet it feels calm, almost familiar, as if you've been here before in another dream. Somewhere far below, Earth spins slowly, wrapped in its blanket of clouds and blue light. You can still see the glow of cities, like tiny constellations of their own. But as you drift farther, the lights fade, the world shrinks, and the silence grows deep. It is not an empty silence. It is full of ancient whispers, of light still traveling, of gravity quietly pulling. The cosmos greets you without words, and you begin to feel its rhythm, the soft pulse of stars being born, the slow breath of galaxies turning. Everywhere you look, movement, yet it feels still, a perfect stillness with an infinite motion. This is the universe's way of saying welcome. You are, in this moment, part of something greater than time, an observer in a vast sea of matter and mystery. Your heartbeat, faint as it is in this endless night, echoes like a small drum through eternity. It's beautiful, it's humbling, and it's the beginning of your cosmic journey. The air of space, though it's no air at all, carries memory. Light from the earliest stars brushes past your mind, telling stories older than words. You realize that every atom in your body once danced within the heart of a star. Iron from an ancient explosion pulses in your blood. Calcium from dying suns makes up your bones. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are made of it. And now, the universe opens before you, a shimmering ocean of galaxies, stretching farther than any dream could imagine. This is the beginning of our journey toward the Great Attractor. But first, you must feel at home here among the stars. The darkness isn't really dark. It's filled with delicate colors, soft blues, deep purples, faint golds, light that has traveled for billions of years to reach your quiet gaze. Each point of light is a sun, perhaps with planets, perhaps with oceans, perhaps with eyes looking back. You wonder for a moment if someone out there is also looking toward you, another tiny spark floating through infinity. The space between galaxies is not empty. It's woven with invisible threads of gravity, a cosmic web holding everything in gentle tension. If you listen closely, you can almost hear it. The faint harmony of creation, not sound exactly, but a vibration, a frequency that hums through space-time. You drift slowly, as if carried by a warm tide. Below, a spiral galaxy spins, its arms graceful and slow, like ink swirling in still water. This galaxy could be the Milky Way, or perhaps one of its countless neighbors. Each arm holds billions of stars, each star its own story, and together they form a living system, balanced in the dance of gravity and momentum. You sense the quiet power that governs all of it, the rule of attraction. Everything pulls on everything else. from the smallest atom to the largest cluster of galaxies. This law is ancient, absolute, and strangely comforting. It is gravity, the gentle hand that shapes the cosmos, and the unseen bond that ties you to the stars. As you drift farther, you begin to see that even galaxies themselves move, not fixed, not still, but gliding through the fabric of space. Each one is part of a grander structure, and the whole universe, vast and serene, moves like a slow-turning current. You close your eyes again, letting that thought settle deep. The Milky Way, the neighboring galaxies, all are floating together in one colossal motion, a cosmic drift that began long ago and continues even now. The universe is not just expanding outward, as we were once taught. It is flowing, curling, swirling, shaped by invisible tides of gravity. And somewhere far away there is a point or perhaps a region where this flow seems to converge, a mysterious center, a cosmic heart, a place astronomers have named the Great Attractor. But for now, don't rush toward it. Let the thought linger like a whisper on the edge of sleep. Let the stars sway gently around you, as if you're rocking in their quiet light. The cosmos has time, infinite time, and so do you. The universe does not speak in words. It speaks in movement, in light, in the slow language of gravity. And tonight it speaks to you. It tells you that you belong, that you are not lost in its vastness. You are part of its fabric. You're not a stranger to the stars. You are their continuation. Each breath you take, each heartbeat, is written into the pattern of space-time itself. You drift among galaxies, and they drift with you, a dance without beginning or end. Somewhere behind you, the Milky Way turns slowly, its spiral arms glowing softly, its stars flickering like lanterns on a black river. From this distance, it looks delicate like a swirl of mist. It feels alive, conscious even in its own celestial rhythm. You watch it move, not through empty space, but through a gentle current, a stream that pulls all galaxies toward a shared destination. This pull is faint but constant, like the rhythm of a heartbeat beneath a lullaby. Astronomers once looked at this motion and asked, Why do all these galaxies drift in one direction? What force calls to them from across billions of light years? That question, that longing to understand, is the same one that calls to you now. The universe invites you to wonder, to let your curiosity rise softly, like starlight on calm water. It tells you that mystery is not something to be feared, but something to rest within, because in the stillness of not knowing, you can finally feel the beauty of simply being. The cosmic welcome is the first step on this voyage. It is the universe opening its arms, whispering softly, "Come closer, see what lies beyond the stars." You are ready now, ready to explore the hidden pull that guides entire galaxies, ready to drift deeper into the mystery that has no edge, no sound, no end. The journey to the Great Attractor begins. Quietly, gently, with a welcome from the universe itself. So, take another breath, feel the quiet gravity of existence, and let yourself float onward toward the next discovery. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the night sky. You look up and it feels still. The stars seem frozen, like tiny white pinpoints on a velvet canvas. They don't appear to move. They shine, they twinkle, but they remain in their places, night after night. And yet, this calm, familiar stillness is an illusion. Everything you see, every star, every planet, every galaxy, is moving, constantly, gracefully, eternally. The universe is never still. Even as you sit quietly listening, you are already in motion. The earth beneath you spins at more than 1,000 miles per hour. As it turns, it orbits the sun at nearly 67,000 miles per hour. The sun itself moves around the Milky Way's center, sailing at an unimaginable speed of 500,000 miles per hour. And the Milky Way, our home galaxy, is drifting through the cosmic sea, pulled by distant forces we are only beginning to understand. You are part of that motion. Your body, your breath, your heartbeat, all of it moves with the same rhythm that stirs galaxies. For billions of years, everything has been in motion. The universe itself began with movement, the great expansion, the release of energy, the birth of space and time. And since that first moment, the cosmos has never stopped. It expands, stretches, and flows like a great tide washing outward into infinity. But the mystery is this: if everything moves, toward where? If all galaxies drift and turn and spiral through this cosmic current, what directs their flow? What invisible hand shapes their path? This is the quiet question that has followed astronomers for decades. They can see motion. They can measure it. But to understand why is to listen to the deep heartbeat of a universe itself. The mystery of motion isn't chaos. It's harmony, subtle, quiet, and precise. Like a vast orchestra where each galaxy plays its own part, yet all follow the same invisible rhythm. For much of human history, the heavens seem like a clock, predictable, orderly, eternal. The stars rose and set, the planets wandered slowly through the constellations, and to ancient eyes, it all looked perfectly still. But as our understanding deepened, so too did our awe. We learned that what appears calm is alive with motion. Every orbit, every spin, every drift tells a story of balance between energy and gravity. It's not random. It's a dance, delicate, continuous, timeless. Imagine watching from far above the Milky Way. You'd see billions of stars revolving slowly around galactic core, each orbit taking hundreds of millions of years. The stars near the center move quickly, tugged by the black hole's gravity. Those near the edges drift more gently, tracing vast, elegant curves through the galactic halo. And all of it moves as one. This motion is ancient. It began when the Milky Way itself was born, when smaller galaxies merged and gas clouds collapsed under their own gravity. The motion we see now is the memory of creation, still echoing through the stars. But it doesn't stop there. The Milky Way is not an isolated island. It's part of a family, the local group, which includes our neighbor Andromeda and dozens of smaller galaxies. These galaxies, too, are bound by gravity. They orbit a shared center, slowly, over billions of years. In about 4 billion years, the Milky Way and Andromeda will meet, not in a violent crash, but in a slow, graceful merging of stars and dust, a cosmic waltz written across eternity. Yet even this is not the end of motion. The local group itself drifts within something larger, a vast web of galaxies and clusters, all moving through invisible gravitational currents. The more astronomers observe, the more they realize that the universe moves like a living organism. Its galaxies like cells in a cosmic bloodstream, flowing along unseen arteries of space-time. And it is here, in this flow, that the mystery deepens, because the direction of this motion is not random. It leans toward a single point in the distant sky, a quiet region that seems to pull everything near it. This hidden attraction is subtle, but powerful enough to bend the motion of entire clusters. The question that lingers is not if there's something there, but what could be so massive, so mysterious, that it calls galaxies across hundreds of millions of light years? This is where the story of the Great Attractor begins to whisper its name. As you float now, in your imagination, among the drifting galaxies, you begin to see motion not as chaos, but as music. Every planet, every star, every galaxy hums in tune with gravity's song. Motion, you realize, is the universe's language of connection. Nothing moves alone. Every object pulls and is pulled by something else. From the tiniest atom to the grandest galaxy cluster, every motion is a response to another. Everything is part of everything. If you could hear this symphony, it wouldn't be loud. It would be gentle, deep and resonant, a slow heartbeat echoing through space. The universe doesn't rush. Its music is patient. It unfolds across billions of years, in movements too vast for us to see in a single lifetime. When we look into the night sky, we're peering into that song. Each streak of light we see has already moved for ages before reaching our eyes. Each galaxy carries its own rhythm, its own story of motion, and yet all of them, billions upon billions, share one great flow. It's as if the universe itself has a direction, a drift, a pulse, and we are part of that movement, not separate observers, but participants, carried gently along in the same cosmic tide. When astronomers began to map this motion, they found something strange, a pattern. Galaxies across vast regions were not simply moving away due to the universe's expansion. They were drifting sideways toward a hidden point, a mysterious center of attraction. And though they could not see what was there, they could feel its pull through the language of motion itself. That quiet, invisible tug is what we now call the Great Attractor. It is not just a place. It is a mystery of motion, a reminder that even in the vast emptiness, there are harmonies we cannot yet hear, forces we cannot yet see, but can feel softly through the rhythm of the stars. You are part of that rhythm, too. Every second, your planet spins, your galaxy glides, your atoms vibrate in time with the cosmic heartbeat. You are the motion, and the motion is you. So rest in that thought, that you are not standing still. You are dancing through eternity, slow, silent, and infinite. The mystery of motion is the story of belonging, and somewhere ahead, waiting patiently in the soft darkness, is the next secret, the hidden pull. Imagine yourself standing under a perfectly clear night sky, far from the noise of cities, far from all human light. Only the soft whisper of wind, the hum of insects, and above you, the Milky Way. A pale, misty band stretches from horizon to horizon, a river of light, so delicate, so endless that you feel small and peaceful all at once. That river, that glowing trail of silver across the sky, is our home, our Milky Way, a galaxy of more than 200 billion stars, each one burning quietly, like a thought in the mind of the cosmos. And within one of its spiral arms, there drifts a tiny, gentle star, our sun. Around it circles a small, blue planet, and on that planet, you are listening. The Milky Way is not still. It's moving, turning slowly, like a grand wheel in the dark. It completes one full rotation every 200 million years. That means, since the time of the dinosaurs, our solar system has made only one journey around the galaxy's center. Every star you see above, every world, every orbit is part of this motion. We are passengers on a cosmic current, a vast spiral of starlight flowing through space. But this journey is not just rotation. Our entire galaxy is moving, gliding through the invisible fabric of the universe. It drifts towards something unseen, something powerful enough to pull not just the Milky Way, but countless other galaxies along with it. When you look up tonight, you are not looking at stillness. You are gazing into motion, into a void so vast and ancient, it defies comprehension. Every star is on a path. Every atom is in transit. You are riding on one of the greatest journeys ever undertaken, a silent voyage through the universe, guided by gravity, shaped by time, and illuminated by the faint light of 100 billion suns. Let's imagine the path we travel. Our solar system sits in the Orion Arm, a minor spiral arm of the Milky Way, a quiet neighborhood between larger, brighter regions filled with massive stars and dense clusters. If we could look down from above our galaxy, we'd see a beautiful spiral, soft and luminous, its arms curling gracefully around a bright center. At that center lies a supermassive black hole called Sagittarius A star. It's about 4 million times the mass of our sun, a gravitational anchor, keeping the Milky Way bound in its eternal rotation. Around it, billions of stars orbit in gentle arcs, like tiny glowing grains in a galactic whirlpool. Our sun, our entire solar system, circles this invisible heart at a breathtaking speed of over 800,000 kilometers per hour. And yet, it takes us 230 million years to complete just one orbit. That means the last time our solar system was in the same spot, the first mammals had just begun to appear on Earth. And when we make our next full circle, who knows what beings will be here to look up at the same stars and wonder the same thoughts. We move, slowly, surely, silently, through a vast ocean of stars. Sometimes we pass near other star systems. Sometimes we drift through quiet regions filled with only thin clouds of hydrogen and dust. Everywhere, gravity guides us, softly bending our path, keeping our place in the cosmic design. But our galaxy, too, is not alone. It travels with companions. Andromeda, our sister galaxy, moving toward us across the void, and smaller galaxies like the Magellanic Clouds, following nearby, like children walking beside a great traveler. Together, these galaxies form the local group, a family of cosmic travelers bound by the same invisible force. They move as one, pulled gently by something greater, an unseen current that flows through the deep structure of the universe. We are not drifting randomly. We are part of an immense pattern, the cosmic web, where each galaxy is a glowing node connected by filaments of dark matter and gravity. Through these filaments, we travel through invisible rivers that carry us ever onward, toward a distant gravitational shore. That shore is where the Great Attractor lies. As you float deeper into thought, try to imagine what it feels like to move, not through air or water, but through the very fabric of space-time. Space itself stretches, curves, and bends around massive objects. Our galaxy sails through that curved fabric, following the subtle slope created by other galaxies, clusters, and hidden masses. We don't feel the motion, but it is there, steady, silent, sure. You, right now, are moving faster than you could ever imagine. The Earth spins beneath you. The Earth orbits the Sun. The Sun orbits the Milky Way. And the Milky Way moves towards something immense and unseen, at hundreds of kilometers per second. Everything you are, everything you know, is part of this drift. From the tiniest particle to the farthest galaxy, the universe is on an endless voyage through itself. Motion is not chaos, it is connection, a sign that everything is held in the same gravitational embrace. Sometimes scientists describe our galactic journey like a leaf floating down a river. The leaf does not need to know where the river ends. It simply moves, carried by the gentle current. We, too, are carried, by forces older than time, by a gravity that holds galaxies as easily as it holds your feet to the ground. Our galaxy's path is long and winding. We move within the Laniakea supercluster, a vast continent of galaxies stretching over 500 million light-years across. Within that cosmic landscape, the Milky Way flows along an invisible stream of space-time, drifting inexorably toward the region astronomers call the Great Attractor. And though we may never reach it, not in a human lifetime, not even in 1,000, its presence shapes our motion every moment of every day. It is the quiet current beneath all existence, a reminder that even across unimaginable distances, something connects us all. Our galactic journey is a story written in movement, the slow, graceful turning of stars, the gentle pull of gravity, the quiet hum of time itself. Every second that passes, we travel thousands of kilometers farther into the universe. Every heartbeat, we drift deeper into a mystery that began long before Earth was born. And as we move, we carry with us everything that makes us human. Our hopes, our dreams, our questions, our quiet longing to understand. The Great Attractor waits ahead, its gravity whispering softly across the void. And though we cannot yet see it, we feel it in the motion of our stars, in the pull of our galaxy, in the rhythm of the cosmos itself. You are part of this voyage. Your atoms once belonged to stars, and those stars now belong to this journey. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe in motion. And so our galactic journey continues, endless, peaceful, and full of wonder. Each night, when you look up, you are not just watching the stars. You are watching your own path through eternity. Close your eyes for a moment and picture the Milky Way again, spinning silently in the darkness. Hundreds of billions of stars, all bound together, rotating around their common center. Now imagine zooming out, beyond our galaxy, beyond our local group, beyond the clusters of galaxies we know so well. You might expect, at that scale, everything would be drifting away evenly, expanding outward with the universe itself. And mostly it does. Galaxies are spreading apart, as the space between them stretches under the influence of cosmic expansion. But hidden within that expansion, astronomers discovered something strange. When they mapped the motion of nearby galaxies, their direction, their velocity, they found that they weren't just moving with the expansion of the universe. They were falling ever so gently toward a particular region of space. Not just one galaxy or a few, but tens of thousands. All drifting, all being drawn toward one mysterious patch of the sky, this invisible region, somewhere in the direction of the constellations Centaurus and Hydra, became known as the Great Attractor. No one could see it directly. It was hidden behind the thick plane of our own galaxy, the zone of avoidance, a region obscured by dense clouds of dust and gas that block visible light. But astronomers could feel its presence in the strange way galaxies around it moved. It was as if something enormous and unseen was tugging on the universe, drawing galaxies toward it with irresistible force. That tug is what we call the hidden pull. It's a whisper of gravity that stretches across hundreds of millions of light years, a cosmic current flowing beneath the visible surface of space, a motion we can't resist because it is written into the very structure of the universe itself. You, me, our planet, our sun, our entire Milky Way. We are all drifting under the influence of that silent, hidden hand. And though we cannot see it with our eyes, we can trace its presence through the motion of everything it touches. Gravity has no voice, no light, no color. It does not shimmer or hum, and yet it is the most persistent force in the cosmos. Every planet, every moon, every star and galaxy, each one moves because of gravity's command. It shapes the dance of the cosmos, silently, patiently, over billions of years. When astronomers began to measure how galaxies move relative to one another, they found something unexpected. Our entire local group, including the Milky Way and Andromeda, is racing through space at nearly 600 kilometers per second. That's over 2 million kilometers every hour. And the direction of that motion points almost exactly toward the Great Attractor. At first, scientists wondered, could it be a coincidence? Perhaps a trick of observation, a distortion caused by cosmic expansion or measurement errors. But the data persisted. Every map, every survey, revealed the same pattern. Galaxies in our region of the universe were flowing toward a gravitational basin, as if sliding down the gentle slope of an invisible hill in space-time. To trace it, astronomers looked not at light, but at movement. They measured how galaxies' velocities changed depending on direction. Some moved slightly faster than cosmic expansion could explain, others slightly slower. This peculiar velocity, the motion that cannot be accounted for by expansion alone, pointed clearly toward the same region of the sky. And there, behind a curtain of dust and starlight, lay something vast. Not a single object, but perhaps a cluster of clusters. An accumulation of matter so massive that it bends the trajectories of thousands of galaxies. When astronomers used X-ray telescopes and radio waves to peer through the Milky Way's obscuring clouds, they found traces of immense galaxy clusters, the Norma cluster, and beyond it, even larger structures. Each cluster contains thousands of galaxies, each galaxy containing hundreds of billions of stars. And yet, together, they're only part of a much greater whole. It's as if we are seeing just the edge of an enormous mountain, rising out of the fog of the cosmos. And somewhere within that fog lies the true source of the pull. We can't see its peak yet, but we can feel its gravity, pulling us slowly toward it, like a deep cosmic tide. If you've ever stood by the sea at night, you know the feeling of being pulled, the tide rising gently, the water drawing back and forth in endless rhythm. That's gravity, too. A quiet, steady presence that doesn't demand attention, but governs everything. Now imagine that same pull, not on an ocean, but on galaxies. A gentle tide, stretching across hundreds of millions of light years. The hidden pull of the Great Attractor is like that, a cosmic tide, moving all things toward balance. And what's most peaceful about it is this. You don't have to feel it. For it to hold you, it works without your awareness, without noise, without conflict, without end. Every star you see above is part of a pattern of attraction. Every galaxy, a note in the quiet symphony of gravity. Even the dark matter, the invisible scaffolding of the universe, is part of this pull. It shapes the vast filaments that connect clusters, forming bridges between cosmic islands. Through those bridges, the pull travels from galaxy to cluster, from cluster to supercluster, until finally it reaches us. And though the Great Attractor is hidden, we know it by its effects, like wind in a field of grass. You can't see it directly, but you can see everything bending gently in its direction. Our galaxy bends that way too. So does Andromeda. So do tens of thousands of others. swaying together in the unseen current. And perhaps that's what makes this discovery so beautiful, that even in the deepest vastness of space, where everything seems separate, where distances are beyond imagining, there is connection, an invisible thread, binding galaxies together through gravity's endless embrace. It's humbling and peaceful to think that right now, while you breathe, while you rest, you are part of that quiet pull. You are moving through space, as naturally as a leaf drifting on water. You are held, you are guided, you are connected to everything that exists. And so, as the hidden pull continues its work, drawing us toward the Great Attractor, gently, endlessly, we can rest in the knowledge that we are never still, never lost, and never alone in the universe. Long ago, before we had powerful telescopes or detailed maps of the cosmos, astronomers believed the Milky Way was everything there was, a vast collection of stars floating alone in the dark. It wasn't until the early 20th century that we discovered the truth that the universe is filled with other galaxies, each one immense and shining, drifting away from us as the cosmos expands. It seemed simple at first, a calm, steady spreading of space, as if the universe itself were exhaling after an ancient beginning. But then, as scientists began to study this motion more carefully, they noticed something peculiar. Galaxies weren't moving exactly as expected. Some seemed to drift faster than the cosmic expansion predicted, others slower. And the direction of that drift wasn't random. When astronomers plotted the paths of hundreds of galaxies, a pattern began to emerge, a quiet, graceful flow toward one part of the sky. It wasn't a violent motion, not a crash or collision. It was gentle, steady, and vast, a cosmic migration, as if the universe were flowing downhill towards something unseen. This strange motion became known as peculiar velocity, the extra movement of galaxies over and above the Hubble expansion. And when all those peculiar velocities were combined, they pointed toward one mysterious region, somewhere deep within the constellations Centaurus and Hydra. Something was pulling us, but what could it be? No single galaxy was large enough to explain it. No visible object seemed to sit at the center. Whatever it was, it lay hidden behind our own Milky Way, in a region astronomers came to call the zone of avoidance, behind that curtain of dust and stars. Invisible to ordinary telescopes, something enormous was waiting. The universe was trying to tell us something, and for the first time, we began to listen. In the 1970s and 1980s, a new generation of astronomers took up the challenge. They wanted to understand the invisible structure of the cosmos, to map how galaxies moved, not just where they were. One of those astronomers was Alan Dressler, a quiet but determined scientist who led a team known as the Seven Samurai. Their goal was to measure the peculiar velocities of hundreds of galaxies, spread across millions of light years. Using the light from distant galaxies, they calculated how far each one was from us, and how fast it was moving through space. The data they gathered painted a strange picture. All across the sky, galaxies seemed to be flowing toward the same region, the same direction where earlier hints had pointed. When Dressler and his colleagues combined all their measurements, they found something astonishing. Our local group, including the Milky Way, was moving at about 600 kilometers per second toward a point in the sky near Centaurus. But more than that, so were hundreds of nearby galaxy clusters. Everything in our cosmic neighborhood was being drawn in the same direction. They named that mysterious gravitational source the Great Attractor. It wasn't a name born of poetry, but of necessity, because they truly didn't know what it was. It wasn't a star, nor a black hole, nor a single galaxy. It was a region of immense mass, spread across hundreds of millions of light years, and its gravity was shaping the motion of the universe itself. The seven samurai had found the fingerprint of something extraordinary, a clue that the cosmos was far more connected, far more dynamic than anyone had imagined. But even with all their measurements, they could not see the Great Attractor directly. It remained buried behind the dense plane of our galaxy, hidden by the light of billions of nearby stars. And so began a new quest, to peer through that cosmic curtain and glimpse what lay beyond, to find the source of the pull. Astronomers turned to wavelengths that could slip through the Milky Way's obscuring dust. Radio waves, infrared light, and even X-rays, each one capable of revealing what ordinary light could not. When they aimed their instruments toward the suspected region, a hidden world began to appear. Beyond the veil of our galaxy lay clusters of galaxies, bound together in massive knots of gravity. One of these was the Norma Cluster, a dense, sprawling collection of thousands of galaxies, located about 220 million light years away. It was enormous, and yet it still couldn't fully explain the scale of the motion they observed. Even larger structures appeared further out, filaments and walls of galaxies stretching like veins through the universe, connecting superclusters in a cosmic web. The deeper astronomers looked, the clearer it became that the Great Attractor wasn't a single object. It was a region, a gravitational basin, a deep well in the fabric of space-time, where matter had gathered over billions of years. Like water flowing into a valley, galaxies were drifting down the invisible slope toward it, pulled by the combined gravity of everything within that region. Dark matter clusters, stars, and voids. And here was the most humbling realization of all. Our Milky Way, our home in the cosmos, was part of that flow. We weren't drifting randomly through space. We were part of a great, interconnected motion, a river of galaxies, flowing together through the universe's invisible landscape. The Great Attractor wasn't just a destination. It was part of the story, a glimpse into the hidden order of the cosmos. And though it remains partly shrouded, its discovery opened our eyes to something deeper, that gravity's reach extends not just across galaxies, but across the very shape of the universe itself. The discovery of the Great Attractor reminded us that we are not separate, not isolated. We are part of a larger motion, a cosmic dance that began long before us, and will continue long after we are gone. It's a humbling thought, and a peaceful one, that even as we sleep, our galaxy is drifting, carried quietly through the dark, drawn by a force we cannot see, but that we can always feel, somewhere deep in the silence between the stars. Imagine for a moment standing on a quiet beach at night. The water moves, but you can't always see the tide itself, only the way it carries shells and seaweed, the way the moonlight glimmers on its surface. In much the same way, the universe has tides too, not of water, but of galaxies. And though we cannot see the current directly, we can trace its flow by watching how galaxies drift within it. For astronomers, this was the next great challenge after the discovery of the Great Attractor. They knew that galaxies were being pulled, but they needed to map that pull, to chart the cosmic rivers of gravity that shaped the motion of everything around us. Mapping motion in the universe is unlike any map made on Earth. Here, distance isn't measured in kilometers or miles, but in millions of light years. And instead of roads or rivers, the map is drawn with light, the faint glow of galaxies scattered across the cosmos. Each galaxy tells a story. By measuring its redshift, the stretching of its light due to the expansion of space, astronomers can tell how fast it is moving away from us. And by comparing that motion to the Hubble flow, they can see whether the galaxy is moving faster or slower than expansion alone would predict. Those differences, those subtle deviations, are what reveal the invisible gravitational landscape of the universe. When astronomers first began collecting this data in the 1980s and 1990s, they used telescopes in Australia, South Africa, and Chile, measuring thousands of galaxies one by one. Each dot on their maps was like a droplet in a cosmic ocean. Over time, patterns began to appear. Galaxies were not scattered randomly through space. They formed great chains and filaments, clusters and walls, structures that span hundreds of millions of light years. And within those structures, the flow of motion could be seen. Currents of galaxies drifting toward denser regions of matter, drawn by the quiet power of gravity. The Great Attractor wasn't just one point. It was part of a grander network, a gravitational basin within a vast supercluster. The more data astronomers gathered, the clearer it became that the universe was not a calm sea, but a flowing, dynamic tapestry of motion. And our galaxy, our home, was one small part of that grand and silent current. Creating a map of the universe is a little like trying to sketch an entire continent from within the fog. You can't see the whole picture at once. You can only measure what lies around you, piece by piece, light by light. To do this, astronomers relied on a set of ingenious tools. One of them was the Tully-Fisher relation, a method for estimating the distance to spiral galaxies. It connects how bright a galaxy appears to how fast it spins. The faster a galaxy rotates, the more massive it tends to be, and the brighter its true luminosity. By comparing how bright it looks from Earth to how bright it should be, astronomers can estimate its true distance, and from that, calculate its motion through space. Each new distance added a point to the cosmic map, and slowly, the fog began to lift. Surveys like the 2-Mass Redshift Survey and Cosmic Flows Project helped chart hundreds of thousands of galaxies. Infrared telescopes could pierce through the dust of the Milky Way, allowing scientists to map galaxies hidden within the zone of avoidance. It was like switching on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, regions once invisible became clear. Clusters, filaments, and gravitational wells that had been hidden for billions of years. As computers grew more powerful, astronomers could visualize the flow of galaxies in 3 dimensions. They created simulations that showed how gravity sculpts the universe over time, how galaxies fall toward one another, merge, and settle into vast structures of unimaginable scale. In these models, the Great Attractor was no longer just a dot or a name. It became a living structure within a network of flows, a gravitational river whose current sweeps through our cosmic neighborhood. And just as a river connects streams and lakes, the Great Attractor connects us to other superclusters, to other tides of motion beyond what we can see. Each new map brought us closer to understanding not only where we are in the universe, but how we move through it. When you look up at the stars tonight, it's easy to imagine stillness, a frozen dome of light above the earth. But the truth is far more beautiful. Everything is moving. Everything is drifting. The stars in our galaxy orbit its center. The galaxy itself drifts through the local group. That group moves toward the Virgo cluster, which itself is flowing toward the Great Attractor. And the Great Attractor, it too is moving, drawn toward an even greater concentration of mass. The Shapley supercluster, a colossal structure hundreds of millions of light years away. All of space is motion. All of existence is flow. When astronomers map these movements, they're not just collecting numbers. They're tracing the heartbeat of the cosmos. Each galaxy, each stream, each filament is a pulse in the grand rhythm of creation. The maps show us that the universe is not random or chaotic. It has order, delicate, invisible order woven through gravity. It is a story written not in light, but in motion. We may never see the full map ourselves, not with our eyes, but it's there, the great cosmic current that carries us, the silent tide that connects us to every corner of the universe. And though we cannot feel it, we are part of it. As you breathe, you move with it. As you dream, the Milky Way drifts gently onward, sailing through the dark sea of a universe. The motion is constant, but peaceful. There's no rush, no noise, only the steady pull of gravity, and the timeless beauty of movement in harmony. When we map the motion of galaxies, we are really mapping ourselves, our place, our direction, our belonging, in a universe that is always in motion and always at peace. Close your eyes and imagine the night sky stretching endlessly above you, a dark canvas sprinkled with stars, the Milky Way glowing softly like a pale river of light. Yet, even within this sparkling tapestry, there are shadows, gaps where light cannot penetrate, areas where the stars seem to disappear into a soft darkness, as if the universe itself is hiding something from view. Astronomers call this region the zone of avoidance. It lies along the plane of the Milky Way, a dense band of stars, gas, and dust that stretches across the sky. From our vantage point on Earth, it blocks our view of objects beyond it, hiding entire galaxies from sight. For centuries, this curtain made parts of the universe invisible. When scientists tried to map the sky in visible light, they found vast empty spaces, areas that were not empty at all, but obscured by the glowing and dusty disk of our own galaxy. It is a reminder of how perspective shapes understanding. Even in the boundless universe, our view is limited, and yet, within that limitation, we can learn to listen to subtle hints, to detect the unseen. The zone of avoidance is more than just an observational challenge. It is a veil, a curtain, a hidden frontier. Behind it lies the Great Attractor, the mysterious mass that tugs gently at our galaxy and all its neighbors across hundreds of millions of light years. Though we cannot see it with ordinary telescopes, we can sense it through the motion of galaxies. The pull of gravity does not care for light or dust. It flows unseen, carving paths through space, guiding galaxies silently toward its center. The zone of avoidance is a reminder of patience. It whispers to us that the universe holds secrets, waiting for the right tools, the right observations, and the right moment to be revealed. For decades, the zone of avoidance kept the Great Attractor shrouded. Astronomers could measure the motion of nearby galaxies, but they could not see the source directly. Then, slowly, technology began to change that. Infrared light, radio waves, and X-rays could pierce the dusty veil, allowing scientists to peer into regions previously invisible. Infrared telescopes, such as those used in the 2-mass survey, captured the faint glow of galaxies hidden behind the Milky Way's dust. Radio telescopes could detect hydrogen gas, tracing galaxies that remain unseen in visible light. X-ray observations revealed hot clusters of galaxies, massive concentrations of matter, shining through the cosmic fog. Each new observation revealed more of the hidden universe. The Norma cluster emerged as a dense collection of galaxies, its gravity contributing to the Great Attractor's pull. Other clusters, walls, and filaments appeared, vast structures connecting regions of the cosmos that had seemed empty before. The zone of avoidance is like a dark forest. From a distance, it seems impenetrable, but step by step, with patience and gentle tools, astronomers begin to see the paths, the clearings, and the hidden streams. And as they map these regions, the universe begins to feel more like a living, breathing organism, a web of galaxies flowing along invisible currents, all subtly connected through gravity, all moving towards something far larger than ourselves. There's a quiet majesty in the zone of avoidance. It is a place where mystery meets knowledge, where patience and curiosity are rewarded with glimpses of the unseen. Though we cannot see the Great Attractor directly, its presence is everywhere. The galaxies around us, our Milky Way included, respond to its gravitational pull, sliding silently along the cosmic tide. The zone of avoidance teaches us humility. It reminds us that even in the vast, observable universe, there are limits to what we can see. Yet, those limits are not barriers. They are invitations to explore, to seek, and to understand more deeply. As you drift through thought, imagine the Milky Way spinning slowly, our solar system carried along in its gentle orbit. Beyond the disk, beyond the stars, lies a hidden realm, a gravitational well pulling us steadily onward. Even in darkness, there is motion. Even in hidden corners, there is connection. The zone of avoidance is not a place of emptiness, but a veil that makes the discovery of the Great Attractor even more profound. It reminds us that the universe is alive with unseen forces, and that we are participants in a grand cosmic dance, gliding along paths set by invisible hands, toward mysteries both beautiful and immense. And as you breathe, you are part of that flow, moving quietly through space, carried by the gentle, invisible currents of the cosmos, toward wonders yet to be fully revealed. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine our Milky Way spinning silently in the dark, surrounded by its companions in the local group, Andromeda, Triangulum, and dozens of smaller galaxies. For a long time, astronomers thought this was our cosmic neighborhood, our immediate cluster of friends in the vast universe. But as mapping techniques grew more sophisticated, they discovered that this was just a tiny portion of something far greater. In 2014, a team of scientists led by Brent Tully revealed that our galaxy is part of an enormous supercluster called Laniakea, a name that means immeasurable heaven in Hawaiian. Laniakea spans over 520 million light-years, encompassing about 100,000 galaxies. It is vast beyond human imagination, a sprawling cosmic continent, floating gently in the universe. Within Laniakea, galaxies are not scattered randomly. They flow along gentle streams and filaments, moving toward regions of greater gravitational pull, toward the Great Attractor. Imagine a slow river, its waters weaving around islands and hills. Galaxies drift along these invisible currents, guided by the hidden landscape of dark matter and gravity. our local group, spinning quietly in its orbit, is but one small leaf on that immense cosmic river, and the river flows steadily, silently, toward the gravitational heart of Laniakea. The discovery of Laniakea changed our understanding of the universe. It revealed that galaxies, clusters, and superclusters are not isolated islands, but interconnected by vast cosmic currents. It showed us that our Milky Way has a place, a position within a grand, moving structure, a home in an unimaginable cosmic expanse. To understand Laniakea, scientists map not just where galaxies are, but how they move, using redshifts and peculiar velocities. They trace the paths galaxies follow through space. These paths reveal the rivers of motion, streams of galaxies flowing toward dense regions, bending around voids, and converging on the Great Attractor. Within Laniakea, there are four main basins of attraction: the Norma Pavo Indus supercluster, the Hydra Centaurus supercluster, the Southern supercluster, and our own Virgo supercluster, home to the Milky Way. Each basin collects galaxies, drawing them along invisible paths through the supercluster, and all of these flows converge toward the central gravitational well we call the Great Attractor. Laniakea is held together not just by visible matter, stars and galaxies, but by dark matter, the invisible scaffolding of the universe. Dark matter forms the cosmic highways along which galaxies drift, guiding the flow gently and silently. When we picture Laniakea, we can imagine a vast, invisible web, a network of currents and basins, with the Great Attractor at its center, pulling the Milky Way and countless other galaxies along its gentle slope. And even though we cannot see this motion with our eyes, its effects are measurable, observable, and profoundly humbling. We are not stationary. We are not alone. We are part of a flowing, living universe, moving toward a center that we can feel but cannot touch. There is something profoundly peaceful about understanding Laniakea. It tells us that we belong somewhere in the cosmos, that our galaxy is not lost in the void, but part of a vast, coherent flow. Our Milky Way, spinning through space, carries the Earth, the Sun, and all life with it within this supercluster river. And the gentle pull of the Great Attractor is like a distant heartbeat, steady and constant, reminding us that even in vastness, everything is connected. Imagine lying under the night sky, watching the Milky Way stretch across the horizon. Every star, every distant galaxy is moving, flowing along invisible currents. The Laniakea supercluster is like a vast ocean of galaxies. Our local group drifts slowly through it, along paths carved by gravity and dark matter. The Great Attractor is the subtle compass, guiding our motion through this immeasurable heaven. Even when we cannot see the full extent of this cosmic structure, we can feel its harmony. The flow is smooth, ordered, and elegant, a gentle reminder that the universe moves according to rules both subtle and grand. We are participants in this cosmic journey. Our stars, our planet, our lives, all carried along by the currents of Laniakea. And so, as you drift in thought, imagine yourself floating gently among the galaxies, part of a river of stars and planets, flowing peacefully toward the heart of the universe, pulled silently by the Great Attractor and cradled within the immeasurable heaven of Laniakea. The universe is vast, yet it has structure, order, and flow, and we are part of that flow, moving quietly, endlessly, beautifully, toward a destiny written in gravity itself. Close your eyes and imagine a vast, dark ocean stretching endlessly in all directions. There are no waves, no foam, No sound, just a gentle, invisible flow beneath the surface, carrying everything along with it. The universe is like that ocean, and galaxies are like leaves, drifting gently on invisible currents. These currents are created by gravity, the silent hand that moves stars, clusters, and superclusters through space. Gravity does not shout. It does not demand attention. It whispers, yet its reach is infinite. Every object with mass bends a fabric of space-time, pulling on other objects across unimaginable distances. The Great Attractor is one of the most powerful sources of this pull in our local universe. But it is not alone. Across billions of light years, galaxies are drawn toward superclusters, then toward even larger concentrations of mass, creating a vast network of motion, a cosmic web of gravitational currents. We cannot see these currents with our eyes, and yet their effects are undeniable. By measuring the velocities of galaxies, astronomers trace these invisible rivers, mapping how the universe flows through its own intricate structure. Our Milky Way, our local group, is carried along in one of these currents, moving steadily toward the Great Attractor, guided by the subtle bending of space-time. It is as if the universe itself is a gentle, flowing river, and we are drifting silently along its path. These gravitational currents reveal a universe that is not static, not random, but alive with motion. Even in the deepest darkness, there is order, there is flow, and there is connection. To visualize gravitational currents, astronomers use maps showing the peculiar velocities of galaxies. Each arrow represents a direction and speed of motion, pointing toward regions of higher mass, toward clusters and superclusters, and ultimately toward the Great Attractor. These maps reveal something extraordinary. Galaxies move in streams and filaments, like water flowing down valleys carved by gravity. The currents are not chaotic. They bend gently around voids, following the invisible hills and wells of mass in the universe. Our galaxy is part of such a stream. The Milky Way drifts along with the local group, sailing toward the Norma cluster, then onward toward the gravitational basin of the Great Attractor. Dark matter plays a crucial role in this cosmic choreography. Though invisible, it forms the scaffolding of the universe, creating channels and pathways along which galaxies drift. Without dark matter, these currents would not exist. Galaxies would float more randomly, without the guiding hand of gravity shaping their paths. These streams are quiet, invisible, and immense. They extend for hundreds of millions of light years, linking clusters, filaments, and voids into a continuous flow. And within this flow, our galaxy moves steadily, peacefully, inevitably. The currents are a reminder of unity. Every star, every galaxy, every cluster is connected by the silent, unseen forces of gravity. Even though the distances are vast and the time scales are incomprehensible, there is order, there is motion, and there is harmony. As you imagine these gravitational currents, picture yourself floating among the stars. You drift past galaxies, each one carrying billions of stars, each one riding its own path along the cosmic river. The flow is endless, stretching beyond the limits of observation, connecting superclusters, and leading toward the Great Attractor, the silent heart of our local universe. It is a motion without haste. There is no violence, no chaos, only a gentle pull, a steady guide through the dark. In this river, the Milky Way is not lost. It is part of the current, moving along paths carved by the invisible hills and valleys of gravity. And so are we. Every atom of our bodies, every star in our sky, rides these currents silently, in harmony with the universe. There is peace in this knowledge. The universe moves with order, even across unimaginable distances. Everything flows together. The currents remind us that we are connected, that we are not adrift, and that our journey through the cosmos is part of a greater, gentle motion. And as you rest, let yourself drift with these gravitational currents, carried safely and quietly through the vast, serene ocean of the universe, toward the hidden heart of the Great Attractor and the unending beauty of motion that binds all things together. Close your eyes and imagine the Milky Way spinning slowly in the darkness, our solar system carried along within its gentle arms. Now imagine looking far beyond our galaxy, past clusters, filaments, and superclusters, into the deep reaches of space. Even there, beyond what we can see with our eyes, there is a silent, powerful pull, a gravitational heart that guides the motion of countless galaxies. This is the center of attraction. It is not a single object like a star or black hole. It is a region of immense mass, a concentration of galaxies, clusters, and dark matter, all combining their gravity to create a pull that stretches across hundreds of millions of light years. The Milky Way, our local group, and other neighboring galaxies are gently drawn toward the center. It is the hidden conductor of a vast cosmic symphony, guiding the dance of stars and galaxies with invisible hands. Astronomers cannot see this heart directly. It is hidden behind the Milky Way's dusty plain, in the zone of avoidance, where light struggles to pass. Yet its presence is undeniable. We feel in the peculiar velocities of galaxies, their motions that deviate from cosmic expansion, revealing an invisible hand that tugs on them, pulling them toward a distant center. It is quiet, yet immense, invisible, yet measurable, hidden, yet central to the motion of our galaxy and its neighbors. The center of attraction reminds us that even in darkness, there is order. Even in places we cannot see, there is direction, purpose, and flow. To study this hidden heart, astronomers rely on advanced tools. Infrared telescopes, X-ray observatories, and radio surveys allow them to peer through the thick dust of the Milky Way, revealing clusters and filaments in the zone of avoidance. One of the largest structures uncovered in this search is the Norma Cluster, a dense collection of galaxies that sits near the apparent center of the Great Attractor. Beyond Norma, other massive clusters and groups appear, all contributing to the gravitational pull. Together, they form a basin, a cosmic depression in the fabric of space-time, where gravity gathers matter and guides galaxies toward it. Scientists call it a gravitational well. Imagine a smooth, invisible valley stretching across the universe, down which galaxies drift slowly but persistently. The Milky Way is part of this gentle descent, moving toward the deepest point, toward the hidden heart of the Great Attractor. Dark matter, though unseen, is the scaffolding of this heart. It provides a structure along which galaxies flow, and contributes far more mass than the visible stars and gas. Without it, the gravitational currents would be weaker, the flow less coherent, and the cosmic dance of galaxies would be entirely different. This hidden core is a reminder of the unseen forces that shape everything around us. Even when we cannot perceive them directly, they guide the universe, move galaxies, and create harmony across vast distances. The center of attraction is invisible, but it is real. It is a silent architect, pulling galaxies together, guiding motion, and shaping the universe on a grand scale. There's serenity in this knowledge. The Milky Way drifts steadily, our solar system carried gently through space, as if floating on a calm river. The center of attraction is the river's destination, but not in a violent way. It does not rush, it does not collide. It draws galaxies along slow, graceful paths, shaping motion with patience over billions of years. The thought can be humbling. Our entire galaxy, with all its stars, planets, and life, is moving silently toward a distant, invisible heart, guided by forces we cannot see, yet whose presence we can measure. This center reminds us of connection, even in vast emptiness. Everything is linked by gravity. Galaxies, clusters, and superclusters are all part of a larger flow, a network of movement and harmony. As you imagine the Milky Way drifting through the universe, consider the quiet majesty of this pull. The universe moves as a whole, each part influencing the others, all flowing toward the unseen heart. And in that gentle, endless flow, there is comfort. We are not lost. We are part of a pattern, carried by currents that have existed since the earliest galaxies formed. The center of attraction may be invisible, but it is a presence, a gentle hand guiding the cosmos. And as we drift toward it, we can rest in the knowledge that everything has its place, everything has its motion, and everything is connected in a cosmic harmony that stretches across the immeasurable expanse of space. Close your eyes and imagine the Milky Way spinning gently in the dark, our solar system carried along within its starry arms. Now, imagine that beyond the glow of every star, beyond the light of every galaxy, there exists something unseen, something that does not shine, does not scatter light, yet exerts a quiet, irresistible pull. This is dark matter. Though invisible, it is everywhere. It weaves through galaxies like an ethereal scaffold, holding stars together, shaping the motion of galaxies, and guiding their gentle drift through the universe. Without dark matter, our galaxy would not hold its spiral shape. Stars at the edges would drift away, clusters would unravel, and the cosmic dance we observe would not exist. Dark matter is the silent partner in every gravitational current, the invisible hand guiding galaxies along their paths. It is the reason the Milky Way flows toward the Great Attractor, and the reason countless other galaxies follow similar currents. Astronomers first suspected dark matter because of motion. Galaxies move faster than visible matter could explain. Clusters exerted more gravity than their stars could account for, and the universe seemed to have hidden weight, spread invisibly across the cosmos. Over decades, scientists mapped these invisible forces, tracing how dark matter shapes the flow of galaxies, and discovered that it forms vast filaments, the cosmic web along which galaxies drift, all converging on massive structures like the Great Attractor. Dark matter is the universe's hidden architecture. It creates valleys and hills in space-time, channels for galaxies to follow, and gravitational wells that pull galaxies together. Without it, the universe would be silent, static, and disconnected. With it, there is movement, connection, and flow, a silent, graceful symphony of motion, stretching across billions of light years. To understand the Great Attractor, we must understand dark matter. The Great Attractor is not a single object, but a gravitational basin formed by massive concentrations of matter. Visible galaxies contribute, but dark matter provides most of the weight. This invisible substance bends space, shaping the paths galaxies take. The Milky Way, our local group, and countless neighboring galaxies are carried along these invisible rivers. Mapping dark matter is challenging. Astronomers cannot see it directly. Instead, they infer its presence through its effects. The motion of galaxies, the bending of light from distant objects, an effect called gravitational lensing, and the distribution of galaxy clusters. Through these observations, scientists can trace the hidden scaffolding of a universe. They see the cosmic web of filaments, the dense nodes of clusters, and the valleys where matter is drawn, all revealing the structure that guides the flow toward the Great Attractor. Dark matter is patient. It does not rush or push violently. Its pull is constant and enduring, operating across unimaginable distances and billions of years. This slow, steady force explains why galaxies move as they do, why the Milky Way drifts toward the Great Attractor, and why the entire Laniakea supercluster flows as one. In the quiet darkness of space, dark matter orchestrates motion. It provides the invisible tracks along which the universe flows, connecting galaxies, clusters, and superclusters in a seamless, elegant design. There's a profound calm in understanding dark matter. Though invisible, it is not chaotic. It does not scatter or collide. It provides structure, stability, and order. Imagine floating among the galaxies, suspended in the cosmic river. Every galaxy you pass is riding a hidden current, guided by the unseen weight of dark matter, flowing gently toward massive regions like the Great Attractor. This invisible force connects everything. Our Milky Way, neighboring galaxies, distant clusters far beyond what we can see. It is humbling to consider that most of the universe is unseen, yet it is this unseen majority that shapes the universe's motion and destiny. The Great Attractor itself is largely a product of dark matter. Its pull is vast, invisible, and serene. It does not push or demand. It simply exists, and the galaxies respond naturally, moving along the paths carved by its presence. Dark matter teaches us patience. It reminds us that what we cannot see can be the most powerful. It guides quietly, shaping the universe's flow, holding the cosmic web together, and connecting us imperceptibly to everything in the heavens. As you drift in thought, imagine the Milky Way sailing along these hidden rivers, dark matter guiding it, the Great Attractor gently drawing it forward, and the universe unfolding in quiet harmony around you. In this silent, invisible architecture, there is motion, there is order, and there is peace. The universe flows, and we flow with it, carried by the unseen hands of dark matter, toward the hidden heart of the cosmos. As we drift outward, past the gravitational embrace of the Great Attractor, we begin to sense the limits of its reach. Its pull, though immense, is not infinite. Even great forces in the universe have boundaries, gentle horizons beyond which their influence fades, and new powers begin to rise. Beyond the Great Attractor lies another vast region, known as the Shapley supercluster, an even more massive congregation of galaxies and dark matter, further along the same cosmic flow. While the Great Attractor gently tugs at our Milky Way, the Shapley supercluster sits beyond it, a still greater gravitational beacon, pulling entire clusters toward its dense heart. Imagine it, a shimmering continent of galaxies, spanning hundreds of millions of light years, each cluster moving, each galaxy drifting, carried along invisible tides of gravity. We, the Milky Way, are but a small traveler in this current, drawn first toward the Great Attractor, then beyond, toward the colossal Shapley concentration. Here, the flow of galaxies becomes even more intricate. Streams merge, currents twist, and the universe reveals its deeper structure, a cosmic ocean with waves of matter and energy flowing through the silent darkness. This is where the story of attraction becomes one of balance, of harmony among titanic forces, each pulling, each shaping, each contributing to the grand dance of the cosmos. Astronomers have a poetic name for our home in this immense structure, Laniakea, meaning immense heaven in Hawaiian. It is a fitting name, for our supercluster stretches across 500 million light-years, encompassing thousands of galaxies, all bound by the invisible fabric of gravity. Laniakea includes the Milky Way, the Virgo cluster, and countless others, all flowing along gravitational streams toward the Great Attractor. But even Laniakea itself is not isolated. It, too, moves, a drifting island of galaxies being pulled slowly toward the Shapley supercluster, further down the cosmic stream. Imagine floating in that current. You are adrift within a sea of light, galaxies like lanterns suspended in the dark, moving gracefully through space. Each galaxy glows quietly, like a thought within the mind of the universe, drawn toward something larger, something beyond comprehension. We do not feel this motion. It is too vast, too slow, its time scale stretching over billions of years. Yet it is real, the entire Milky Way. Our home, our stars, our history, is gliding silently through the dark, toward regions we may never reach. In the deepest calm of the cosmos, there is constant motion. Gravity never sleeps. Even as galaxies collide and merge, new structures form, and the currents of the universe continue to evolve. Every movement is a part of a grand pattern, a pattern that began with the Big Bang and continues endlessly. Even now, beyond the Shapley supercluster, our instruments begin to reach their limits. Light from distant galaxies grows faint, redshifted by the expansion of space itself. Beyond these vast structures lies something greater still, the mysterious cosmic flow, a large-scale movement that hints there may be even larger attractors, even deeper gravitational centers beyond our visible horizon. Some scientists call it the dipole repeller, a vast region of relatively empty space that pushes galaxies away from it, as others pull them in, balancing the cosmic motion like opposing tides. These discoveries remind us how little we truly know. Even with our greatest telescopes, we see only a fragment of what exists. Beyond the observable edge, space continues, perhaps endlessly. The Great Attractor, the Shapley supercluster, and all that we know are merely parts of a grander web, woven through infinity. As we gaze outward, we realize that there may always be something beyond, a deeper gravity, a larger structure, a new horizon waiting to be found. And yet, there is a peace in this uncertainty. The unknown is not frightening, but wondrous. It reminds us that exploration never ends, and that curiosity, the quiet pulse of discovery, is what keeps the universe alive within us. In the soft silence of the night, as galaxies drift and light fades into shadow, we can imagine our place, a small, shining point in the grand current of the cosmos. The Great Attractor lies behind us, the Shapley supercluster ahead, and beyond that, infinite possibilities. And so we continue to drift, gently, quietly, carried by the invisible tides of creation, into the endless night. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the night sky stretched above you, a quiet ocean of stars, each one a world, each one a sun. From the ground, it looks like a blanket of light. But if you could step beyond the atmosphere, if you could look deeper, you would see that every star is separated by oceans of emptiness. The nearest star to us, Proxima Centauri, is over 4 light years away. That's about 40 trillion kilometers. And yet, on a galactic scale, it is our next-door neighbor. The Milky Way itself, our galactic home, spans about 100,000 light years across. Within it are more than 200 billion stars, each possibly surrounded by planets, moons, and drifting clouds of dust. It's difficult to imagine such numbers, but let's try softly, slowly. If each star were a single grain of sand, the Milky Way would form a beach stretching for hundreds of miles. Now, lift your gaze outward again. Beyond our galaxy, there are other galaxies, millions, then billions, each with their own countless stars. The Andromeda Galaxy, our nearest large neighbor, lies over 2.5 million light years away. Even moving at the speed of light, it would take longer than all of recorded human history to reach it. And yet, in cosmic terms, Andromeda is close. Close enough that our two galaxies are slowly moving toward one another. In about 4 billion years, they will merge, forming one grand luminous spiral, a new galaxy, perhaps called Mokometa. When you think of time and space like this, it becomes clear the universe operates on scales so vast that our daily experiences are mere whispers against eternity. The Great Attractor pulls galaxies together, but perhaps, in some poetic way, it also pulls us toward understanding, toward a gentle awareness of our connection to everything around us. The flow of the cosmos is not only spatial, it is temporal. It moves through time as much as it moves through space. Think of your life as a small section of that great river, a current of moments, each carrying you forward. You cannot see the full course of the river, nor where it begins or ends, but you can feel its motion, gentle, unhurried, carrying you towards something unseen. Just as galaxies drift within gravitational streams, we drift through the currents of time, through childhood, through growth, through discovery and rest. The forces that shape galaxies also shape us, not through physical gravity, but through the invisible pull of experience. Every decision, every chance encounter, every quiet realization creates ripples in the fabric of your life, small gravitational wells that change your path, your momentum, your story, and if you could see your timeline. As astronomers see galaxy clusters, you might find that your life too forms patterns, constellations of meaning, connections that link one moment to the next. Some days feel like collisions, powerful, bright, transformative. Others are soft, slow drifts through calm space. Yet all of them belong to the same flow, the same cosmic river that began, when time itself began. Our place in this flow is not fixed or final. We are both travelers and creators, moving, learning, shaping the current as it shapes us. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember that the same gravity, pulling entire galaxies together, is also pulling you through the quiet story of your own becoming. You are, in every sense, a child of the flow, There's a strange paradox in the universe. Everything is moving, and yet in that movement, there is stillness. From afar, galaxies whirl like storms. Stars orbit in endless cycles, and the universe itself expands without end. But if you could step outside of it all, outside of time, outside of gravity, you would see that motion as a single peaceful pattern, like ripples in a pond. Each wave belongs to something greater. Each galaxy, each star, each human life is a vibration within a cosmic harmony. In this view, there is no need for hurry, no need to reach the end, because the flow is the purpose. The movement itself is the meaning. Our place in the flow is not at the beginning or the end. It is within it, everywhere and nowhere, forever in motion, forever at rest. When you breathe slowly, you can almost feel it, the rhythm of the cosmos, the subtle pulse of time, the faint whisper of eternity, flowing through your chest. And in that moment, you are no longer separate from the stars, or the galaxies, or the Great Attractor itself. You are part of the same gentle movement, the same cosmic tide. That began with the first spark of creation, and continues still, quietly, endlessly. We are small, but not insignificant. We are temporary, but never truly gone. For even when our forms fade, the atoms that once formed us will return to the flow, to drift, to shine, to live again, in another star, another world, another breath. So rest tonight in the comfort of knowing that you are part of something vast and beautiful. You belong to the universe, and it belongs to you. Every heartbeat, every moment of silence is the sound of the cosmos breathing through you. Somewhere deep within the fabric of everything, there's a rhythm, a pulse, a steady, silent heartbeat of the universe. We do not hear it with our ears, but we can sense it in the movement of galaxies, in the light of distant stars, and even in the quiet breath we take before sleep. This rhythm is not hurried. It has no beginning, no end. It is the same rhythm that once stirred the early universe, when the first atoms formed and the first light escaped into the dark. Every planet, every star, every living being is a note within that infinite melody, a single tone, brief yet essential, in the vast symphony of existence. When astronomers watch galaxies move, when they chart the flow of space, and the tug of the Great Attractor, they are, in a way, listening to that cosmic rhythm. They see the same music we feel, the same order, the same beauty, the same calm, because even in chaos, in collisions of galaxies, in the slow dance of black holes, there is balance, there is peace. The Great Attractor does not pull in violence. It draws in harmony, like the tide calling softly to the sea. And so the Milky Way moves, and Andromeda follows, and clusters of galaxies flow like rivers toward some unseen horizon, all of them obeying that same universal rhythm. You are a part of that motion too. Every atom in your body moves with it. Every heartbeat follows it. You are never still. Even in rest, you drift gently through the currents of space and time. So as you breathe now, slowly, deeply, imagine yourself floating upon that current, weightless, peaceful. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? That we, tiny beings on a small blue world, can even begin to understand the magnitude of what surrounds us. Astronomers have tried for decades to map the structure of the universe, to understand how galaxies are arranged, and where they flow. When they first began charting the cosmos, they thought galaxies might be scattered randomly. But as telescopes grew more powerful, a pattern began to emerge. Galaxies are not scattered like dust. They are arranged in web-like structures, connected by vast filaments of gas, dark matter, and light. Between these filaments lie voids, immense, nearly empty regions, stretching for hundreds of millions of light years. The result is breathtaking. The universe looks like a vast cosmic web, a network of glowing threads, connecting islands of galaxies across unimaginable distances. In the center of some of these threads lie superclusters, regions like Laniakea, the Great Attractor, and the Shapley concentration. Each of these structures is like a knot in the cosmic fabric, a place where gravity has drawn galaxies together, weaving them into luminous clusters. And beyond those, the web continues. It stretches as far as our instruments can detect, and almost certainly far beyond that, the observable universe. The region of space from which light has had time to reach us is about 93 billion light years across. That number sounds impossible, and in many ways it is, because space itself is expanding. The galaxies at the farthest edge of our view are moving away from us faster than light. Their light, stretched and reddened, fades into invisibility, a soft reminder that there are parts of the cosmos we will never see. But within that limit, within those 93 billion light years, there is order, there is beauty, and there is the same quiet rhythm we see in everything. The rhythm of motion, of attraction, of gravity and light. The universe, in all its immensity, is not chaos. It is harmony on a scale too vast for us to hold. When we think of the scale of it all, it's easy to feel small, perhaps even insignificant. But the truth is the opposite. Our smallness, our ability to wonder, our capacity to gaze at distant stars and ask why, that is what gives us meaning. We are made of the same matter as the galaxies, the carbon in our cells, the iron in our blood, the calcium in our bones. All of it was born in the heart of ancient stars. When those stars exploded, their elements scattered across the cosmos, drifting through space for billions of years, until they came together again to form worlds, oceans, and life. In that sense, you and I are not just in the universe. We are the universe, a way for it to look back on itself and marvel at its own creation. Think about that. Softly, the light of distant stars, traveling for millions of years, reaches your eyes tonight. That same light has passed through clouds of dust, crossed vast voids, and found you here in this quiet moment. You listening now are connected to every galaxy, every atom, every ancient explosion that gave rise to existence itself. The scale of it all does not diminish you. It magnifies you, because within that infinite expanse, you are aware. You can feel wonder. You can love. You can dream. And perhaps that is the most beautiful discovery of all, that even in a universe so large, so endlessly vast, consciousness flickers like a candle, bringing warmth to the coldness of space. The Great Attractor pulls us. The universe expands. And through it all, we drift, peaceful, curious, and alive. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself suspended in space. No sound, no rush of air, only the soft hum of distant starlight and the quiet rhythm of your own heartbeat. Now, Imagine that heartbeat as a small echo, a whisper of something far older, something vast. Every beat, every breath, is a pulse that has its roots in the beginning of time. When the universe first expanded from the Big Bang, it set in motion a flow, a movement that continues through galaxies, through planets, and yes, through you. You are not separate from that motion. You are a continuation of it. The same physical laws that guide galaxies in their orbits, the same gravity that tugs at stars and planets, is the very same force that keeps you anchored to Earth, keeps your body upright, your blood flowing, your cells held together in perfect harmony. When astronomers speak of the Great Attractor, or the Shapley supercluster, or the cosmic flow, they are describing something that happens on a scale beyond imagination. But the truth is, that same flow exists within us. Think of your bloodstream as a galaxy of its own, trillions of cells moving in ordered motion, guided by invisible currents. Each red blood cell travels through veins and arteries, like a tiny spacecraft navigating the galaxy of your body. And just like the Milky Way, your body is not still. It is a universe in motion, alive with energy, gravity, and flow. Every time you breathe in, you're drawing atoms that once drifted among stars. Every time you exhale, you release them back, continuing the exchange between yourself and the cosmos. We are not observers of the universe. We are participants. We exist within the same current that moves the galaxies, and that quiet realization can be deeply comforting, carried by the same invisible force that carries galaxies across the heavens. That is the peace of cosmic motion, to know that even in stillness, you are part of something that never ends. The universe, vast as it is, has no single center, no one place that can claim to be where it all began. Instead, everything expands together. Every point, every cluster, every galaxy, all moving outward, not from a place, but from a moment. That moment, the beginning of time, still echoes today. It hums in the background as cosmic microwave radiation, a soft, invisible afterglow of creation. We are surrounded by it, bathed in it. It whispers quietly to every corner of the sky, the memory of a universe being born. And in that echo, we can find harmony. Because even though we live in a universe too vast to explore, too intricate to fully comprehend, it moves in perfect balance. Gravity pulls, expansion pushes, and between those two forces, the cosmos breathes. If gravity alone ruled, everything would collapse inward. If expansion alone dominated, everything would drift apart too fast for stars to form. But somehow, in exquisite precision, the two forces coexist, creating a universe that is neither chaos nor stillness, but flowing peace. This balance is what allows galaxies to exist. It allows stars to shine, planets to orbit, and life to emerge. When you watch the night sky, you are witnessing that balance in action, light and darkness, motion and silence, expansion and attraction. It is a reminder that peace is not the absence of movement, but the harmony within it. The peace of cosmic motion comes not from stilling the universe, but from realizing that the universe has always been still. In its own way, it moves perfectly, endlessly, peacefully, and so do we. Now, as we reach the end of our journey through the Great Attractor, the galaxies, and the cosmic web, let us pause and simply breathe. For a long time, we have traveled outward into clusters and currents, superclusters and flows, searching for understanding. And yet, as the journey ends, we find that everything we sought out there was always within us. The peace of cosmic motion is the same peace we feel when we close our eyes and allow ourselves to be carried by the rhythm of our breath. You are moving through the universe, and the universe moves through you. There is no separation, only flow. Each heartbeat is a ripple in the great ocean of existence. Each thought is a flicker of starlight. Each breath is part of the same current that carries galaxies through eternity. And even when you rest, when you sleep, that motion continues, quietly, gently, guiding you through dreams and beyond. Perhaps, in some distant future, the light of our galaxy will reach a new world. Perhaps beings there will look up at the faint glow of the Milky Way and wonder, as we do now, where it all leads. And maybe, just maybe, they too will feel the same peace, the same sense of belonging to a universe that moves with endless grace. So as the stars wheel silently above and your body grows calm, know that you are part of something timeless, something kind, something beautiful. The peace of cosmic motion is not far away. It is here, now, within you. Sleep, dream, and drift through the galaxies of your imagination, for the universe itself is dreaming through you. Good night, dear traveler of the stars, and goodbye until our next quiet discovery.